Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. I hope everybody is having a great week and a great day and looking forward to the weekend. I have been excited about this stream for several days, trying to put it together, and I hope it goes well. It is a bit of a test because I've never done this kind of stream before where we've actually tried to play the game. So we'll have to see how it goes, and I'd be interested to see feedback from everybody on how they think it's going. So please let me know down in the comments or in the chat how you think this works. If it works out well, we will keep doing it. If we have some issues with it, then we'll figure those out too and decide where we go from there. So, but like I said, this is kind of a test, trying to see how it works to kind of do an encounter or a couple of encounters using some feedback from the chat and everything like that. And so we'll see how it goes. I had put a poll question out there. I put it out yesterday. I didn't realize the poll was going to end before the stream actually started, so I put the poll out there again. But so it's the same poll question. What I'm curious is what everybody's preference is for how we run this encounter. We could either run these encounters as a demo where I share everything that I have. So we'll pull up the encounter and we'll look at the encounter together and we'll go through all the details in the encounter, including the monster stats and the tactics and everything. And we'll just play it as though it's a demo. Or we could run the encounters more like an actual game where I am the dungeon master and I share the information that the players would need to know. And then, but I don't necessarily share all the details that are behind the DM screen, if you will. So that was the poll question I put out there. I got a bunch of responses. I put the poll question out there again, just to kind of make sure it was running while we started the stream. So if you have not had a chance to respond to that poll question, please go ahead and do so, just to make sure that everybody's voice is heard. And we'll basically run the encounters the way that everyone desires for the encounters to be run. So please go ahead and answer the poll and let me know your thoughts on that. While we're getting a chance to settle in and answer the poll question and stuff, let me talk a little bit about what we're planning on doing here. So what I want to do is actually run through a couple of encounters. Hopefully, we'll see if we can get through both of them. I don't anticipate that they will take too long for each one, and we should be able to get through two. But if they take a little while, then we might only get through one, so we'll see how it goes. But the first one is going to be from the Red Box Starter Set from 4th edition. This is actually for the Essentials kit that came out in 2010, but we're going to use it with the core rules. It's not really critical that we run it with Essentials, even though that was the box that it came with. So we'll run that one first, and the reason I picked that one is it's a pretty basic encounter, pretty standard for Dungeons & Dragons, fighting a few goblins, and kind of a good way to just kind of get a feel for characters and see how it goes. So that's the first one that I have on the list, and we'll give it a bit of go. The next one I have is an encounter from Keep on the Shadowfell. This one is actually the first D&D 4th edition encounter that was ever released, because Keep on the Shadowfell came out a month before the 4th edition core rulebooks were released. So anybody that was in the market for 4th edition, this would have been the first product they could have obtained, and this is the first encounter that was in that particular book. So again, it is a pretty introductory, standard Dungeons & Dragons encounter. Nothing too complicated, but I think it's a pretty good one for our intentions here. So those are the two encounters that we will go with. Hey, Emmy, glad to have you back again. Hello there. Oh, and then so I guess we'll see. Sounds like you can't stick around, so sorry to hear that. But I'm glad you could make it here. Mayan, so yeah, hopefully you have some fun with these encounters. We'll see how it goes. And Zur 606 from doing Roman numerals there. Glad you could make it. Sean, welcome back. I remember you were out there last time. I thought about doing that. We could mix it up too. Yeah, I could do the first one as a demo and then kind of run the next one as a playthrough. So we'll see. The trick that we have with the playthrough is that one, it's only through the chat, so and there's also a delay, so sometimes that can be a little precarious. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I thought about that. So we'll give it a go. We'll run through the first one, and then maybe I'll put it out there again and see how everybody wants to do the second one. Hey Joshua, welcome. Yeah, I didn't actually realize the red box until many years later. The red box was the first thing I got for D&D. I didn't realize Essentials was a different thing until much later. But yeah, the encounter itself is pretty standard. Doesn't really rely on the rules too much in that way. Yeah, and I'm not an expert on the difference between Essentials and the core rules. I know that we've had that conversation a few times on the stream, and I've not dug into it myself personally, but I know that there are a few experts out there that know the differences much better than I do. So between the Essentials and the core rules. So as one word, my own, I guess is long O, my own. I hope I'm doing that one right this time. 06. Oh, see, it's so obvious to me. I see all these usernames out there, and I try my best to formulate them into words, and then I always get corrected, and I realize that it was like staring at me in the face the whole time. So sorry about that. So we got my own. Hopefully I'm doing that one right, and then 06, like that one. All right, so let's take a look. I mean, the polls, pretty overwhelmingly, the polls were saying that we want to do this as a demo. So we had the one that I put up earlier. I believe it was like 83% of the people that responded said that they wanted to do it as a demo. And then the one that's ongoing right now, we're at 14 votes. We got 71% wanting to do it as a demo, but 30% still wanting to do as a playthrough. So I do like the idea of maybe we split it up. We do one way and do one the other way. So we'll let's do the first one, and then we'll circle back to that and see how the other one is. Hey James, sorry you can't stick around, but hopefully you can catch the replay later. And I always try to put up a condensed version of this sometime over the weekend. So keep an eye out for that. You can watch a shortened version of it as well. All right, so I think we're pretty clear. We're going to do this as a demo. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's see. I'm going to check the status. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. So, all right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. So, a couple of so one thing, we're gonna I'm gonna focus on these are both combat encounters, so there's nothing too fancy with these. So we'll Oh, Mion. Okay, I think I'm getting closer. To it. So keep me honest. These are both combat encounters, so that's the easiest thing for us to run, I think. But I do, if this is something that works out down the road, we may try to do something. At least maybe we could do some exploration, possibly skill challenges or something like that. But for now, these are just combat encounters, so we'll keep it again pretty basic. But I think it'll be a lot of fun. The characters are from the Keep on the Shadowfell module. It came with a quick start guide that included 5 pre-generated characters. I'm going to be using 4 of those characters for this. If you have not downloaded those or you want to and follow along, I have a link down to the Keep on the Shadowfell module from DriveThruRPG. It is free. You can download it through DriveThruRPG. I made a couple modifications just to the I added the character names to the characters we'll be using. Those customized character sheets are on my website, and that link is also down in the description. So if you want to grab copies of the character sheets for yourself, you can get those out of the description. So feel free to look down there and check out those links. So that is that. And the last thing before we dive into it is please do, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, click the like button, and that'll help me with the YouTube algorithm. So please, by all means, do that. If you're looking for any other ways to help support the channel, check out all those links down in the description. There's lots of different things that you can do to help support the work and support the channel. So thank you for that. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Let me flip over to this other screen. And here we have our, so we'll go through the characters first. And again, if you want to grab the character sheets, the links to that are down in the description. So, hey, Endless Nights, glad you could make it. So there's we're using 4 characters. There are 5 pre-gens from Keep on the Shadowfell, but we're going to be using 4 of them. The first one that we have is Keldrek. Keldrek is a Dragonborn Paladin. And it's got 27 hit points, armor class of 20. Basic attack is longsword, has a ranged attack with a javelin. At will powers are Holy Strike, Valiant Strike. Encounter power is Radiant Smite. Daily power is Paladin's Judgment. And then there's several special features that he has. The first one is Lay on Hands. One thing to point out with Lay on Hands is that it says that it's an at-will power with special in parentheses, and then for special it says you can use this power once per day, which doesn't really make it sound like much of a at-will power. It sounds more like a daily power. The reason is just the special in the core rules is that you can use this power a number of times per day equal to your wisdom modifier. So if your wisdom modifier was 3, you would be able to use it 3 times per day. If it was 2, you could use it 2 times per day. In this case, Keldrek's wisdom modifier is 1, so he can only actually use it once per day, which makes it more like a daily power. But that's why it has the at-will special once per day. Next, we have Dragon Breath, is the Dragonborn racial feature. We have to make a decision on this one. It is an encounter power, and we have to choose what type of damage we want it to deal. It's acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison are the 5 options that we have for that. So if anybody has any ideas about what they would like for the type of damage for Dragon Breath, please go ahead and just throw that in the chat, and we'll see if there's a consensus that comes along with that one, and we will just go with it. Other encounter power is Channel Divinity with Divine Strength, and then also has Divine Challenge as an at-will power. And then the other thing that, I guess that was the only thing that he had that was special. So, and moving on to the next one is our Halfling Rogue is Lyra. 25 hit points, armor class of 16, and then has a dagger for both her melee and ranged basic attacks. Second chance is a halfling racial power. At-will powers are Deft Strike and Sly Flourish. Encounter power of Positioning Strike and daily power of Trick Strike. She's got several different class features that are pretty helpful. +3 bonus to armor class against opportunity attacks. The really good one is First Strike, where if she rolls a high initiative, then she gets combat advantage against any creatures that have not yet acted in the encounter. So a high initiative would be really helpful for her to be able to do something extra for those. And then sneak attack indicates that, so when she has combat advantage, she gets to use the sneak attack dice. It indicates that they are 2d8 points of damage in addition to the regular damage. The reason it's 2d8s instead of 2d6s, which would be the normal damage, is because she has the backstabber feat, which raises her sneak attack dice from d6s up to d8s. So that's why she gets a little extra something there. Next one is Elara, our human wizard. 23 hit points, armor class of 14, has a quarterstaff for the basic melee attack, and then magic missile can be used as a ranged basic attack. For the at-will powers, she has Magic Missile, which does require an attack roll. Like other editions, Magic Missile in the core rules for 4th edition requires that you make an attack roll. The damage for it is a little bit more. It's 2d4 plus 4, so that's a little more than what you get in some of the other editions. When the Essentials line came out, that is one of the things they changed. Magic Missile, once again, was an auto-hit spell. But here, we're using the core rules, and Magic Missile does require an attack roll. Other at-wills are Ray of Frost and Scorching Burst. Encounter power of Burning Hands, daily power of Acid Arrow, and Sleep. So as a wizard, she has a spell book, which means for daily power, she actually has 2 spells in that spell book, which is another decision that we have to make, is which of those spells do we want her to have prepared for today. So she can only prepare one of those 2 daily spells, either Acid Arrow or Sleep. So if anybody has any thoughts on that and wants to throw it in the chat, please feel free to go ahead and do that, and we'll go with whatever everyone feels they want to do. As a wizard, she gets some cantrips as well, Ghost Sound and Light. She gets with a feat of Action Surge, she gets a +3 bonus to any attack rolls that she makes when she spends her action point. So that's not a bad deal. So, and I think that's pretty much the core of what she's got. So we'll just have to figure out what her daily spell is that we want to go with. And then finally, we have our dwarf fighter, Haldor. Haldor has 31 hit points and a 17 armor class. His basic attack is a maul, and his ranged basic attack is a dagger. At will powers are Cleave and Reaping Strike, and counter power is Spinning Sweep, and daily power is Brute Strike. For his class features, he has Combat Challenge, which gives him, which is cool because it actually marks an enemy, and that enemy takes a -2 penalty on any attacks they make against other creatures besides him. So it kind of forces them to have to target him instead of going after other creatures, or they take a penalty. And then the feat of Power Attack is pretty cool because when he makes a melee attack, he can choose to give up some accuracy by taking a -2 penalty on the attack roll. And then if it hits, he gets a +3 bonus on the damage. So give up a little accuracy, get a little extra on the damage. So that is our 4 characters. The only things we have to decide is what type of damage we want Keldrek, our Dragonborn, to deal with his breath weapon, and then which daily spell for Elara, our wizard. So let's decide those. So Jacob, so sleep would be, so if we're going, this is pretty, straightforward, 4 characters. We've got our rogue, we've got a paladin that's kind of able to do some healing. We have the wizard, we have the fighter. So the wizard would definitely fall into the controller. We could go with sleep as the spell of choice for Elara in that one. Acid breath is the best breath. Okay, Joe, I'm not going to dispute you on that one. So we'll go with acid damage. That seems to be our 2 votes that we have out there from the community. So Keldrek, the Dragonborn, does acid damage with his breath weapon, and we will use sleep as the we got 06 now chimes in with a different option. So we got cold, but acid breath came first. So unless there's a run of people wanting something different, we will go with acid breath for now. So. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at this first encounter, and we'll pull it up on the sheet here. All right. So this encounter is, like I said, it's from the Red Box starter set. And so this was I don't know if you're not familiar with the Red Box starter set. It came with the player's book and it came with the DM's book. And the player's book had kind of a choose your own adventure path that you would take, where it put you in a situation where you're getting like attacked by goblins and asked you what you would like to do and gave you a couple choices. And if you chose this, then it would direct you somewhere else in the book, and it would tell you, oh, based on that choice, you must be a fighter. And then if you choose a different thing, you'd go to a different place and it would say, oh, based on this, you want to be a rogue. And it had a whole series of these. And as you went through it, you ended up having created a character. So that was the character creation method that it used in that starter set, which I thought was pretty cool. That was my first exposure to it. Made it really easy to follow along, and I think it worked very well. So once you have your character created and you're kind of playing that portion by yourself, and you finish that encounter, then it basically says that you are gonna track these goblins back to their lair to try to recover the treasure that they've stolen, but you need more people to help you, and that's where it basically says you need to go find some friends and get some other characters and build those characters, and then as a group you can come in and try to attack the goblins. So the idea is that you've created your character, you've gone out and you found some friends, and you've created 3 other characters, and now the group of 4 of you are going to go and track these goblins and recover the treasure. So that's the premise here. And so this is the first encounter that's in the Dungeon Master's book from that starter set. And it's the first one that's actually laid out like a typical encounter in 4th edition. So you got the name of the encounter, and then it tells you the encounter level and how many XP it's going to be worth once they complete the encounter. And then you go into a whole bunch of stuff about the setup. So you see that it says there's 2 goblin cutthroats and 2 gray wolves. It does provide a lot more information than you would generally get with an encounter in a regular adventure module, and we'll kind of see that once we get to the second one, or if we all look at the one from Keep on the Shadowfell, because this one is guiding you through how to be a dungeon master. So there's a lot of information provided in here about how you do things that isn't necessarily provided in a regular encounter. So this one is very educational in nature. But it tells you got 2 goblin cutthroats, 2 gray wolves, and you can see on the right side of it is the monster stat blocks for the goblin cutthroats and the gray wolves. So you don't have to flip back and forth to the monster manual. You don't have to flip to the back of the book. The encounters, the monster stat blocks are right in the encounter, and everything is right there in front of you for everything that you need. So, then it mentions the thing I was just talking about, how this picks up from where everything left off. And then you get a bit of box text for the Dungeon Master to read. So the Goblinware was too much for just one of you to handle, but there's strength in numbers. Now your group is ready to handle the Goblin's menace and retrieve the merchant's stolen box. In the town of Fallcrest, you met up with other adventurers, each of you brave and talented enough to take on the swarm of goblins. You're on a lonely road approaching the site of the Goblin Lair. The distant howl of wolves has followed you since you set out from Fallcrest, and now you see 2 of the beasts emerge from behind some rocks along the side of the road. The wolves growl menacingly. With a shrill cry, 2 goblins appear from behind a ruined tower and rush to attack. So with that said, the next step is to place the hero tokens on the encounter map in an area that is marked on that map. You can see there's a place that says we're place character tokens here. And then to also put the goblin tokens and the wolf tokens in the positions indicated on the map. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let me flip over and we'll pull up the map. Wrong. There we go. And there is our map. So, and once we have that, we can go ahead and we will put you can see the area where the hero tokens are supposed to go. So we will go ahead and put our hero tokens there. And then we will add in the wolves and we will add in the goblins. And I think everything's in the right position. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. I think we've established what we want to do there. So, all right. Now everything is in position. I can turn off that little area there. And we're ready to start this encounter. So all 4 of our heroes are there. The wolves and the goblins are in position, and we can go ahead and start the encounter. So you can see I'll bring up the encounter again. You can see it's the next thing it says is to roll initiative. So for each character, we'll roll initiative and we will add their initiative bonus. And then the monsters, we will roll initiative for the goblins and we will roll initiative for the wolves. And then we will keep track of that, and I will adjust the order of everything as we go there. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me get over to a different place where I can roll some dice. And we will start with Keldrek, and we'll see what his initiative is going to be. And he gets a 10. Now Keldrek has oops, wrong button. Keldrek has a initiative bonus of +0. So Keldrek is not going to get anything on top of his 10 for his initiative. So I'm just going to make a note up top that he has a 10 for his initiative, and we'll just leave it at that. Then our next hero is Lyra. Lyra has a +4 for her initiative. So let's go ahead and roll her die. She gets a 17 with her +4. That is going to give her a 21. And that's excellent for her because she has that feat that gives her a combat advantage against any creature that has not yet acted in that first round. So with a 21, it's probably pretty likely that she is going to be the one going first in this encounter. Next is Alara. Alara has a +6 to her initiative. And so if we roll her die, that's a 10. That's going to give her a 16. Oops. All right. And then finally from the heroes, Haldor has a +1 for initiative. And roll a d20 for him. And that is going to be 11. For his initiative. Okay, so we have our heroes. I just need to roll twice more, once for our goblins and once for the wolves. So the goblins, it'll be 16, and if we go back to our encounter and we pull that one up, we can see that the goblins have an initiative bonus of +5, and so with them rolling a 16 +5. Oh, that we actually are going to have a tie. See, I was so confident that Lyra would be good, but 16 +5 is a 21. So we will have to have a tiebreaker. We'll talk about that in a second. And then our last monster is the wolves. Let's go ahead and roll that d20. It's 17, and our wolves have an initiative bonus of 6, and well, it looks like they're going to end up going first. They're quite agile, so they got a 17 +6 is going to be a 23. Oops, sorry, forget that. 23. Some messy numbers, but please excuse that. All right, and there are our initiative numbers. So we have, obviously the wolves are going to go first, and we can go ahead and bring those into the initiative order here. The wolves are going to go first without question. So I'll just move them up to there. And next is going to be a tie between Lyra and the goblins. Now for our purposes, I am going to put Lyra, give her the tiebreaker. Ordinarily, you might roll a d6 or something to see who gets the edge, but I'm just going to go ahead and give it to the hero in this case. Yeah, I know, right? I was so confident that no one would beat a 21, and not only did one person tie the 21, someone also beat it. So, what are you going to do? So she'll go and then be followed by the goblins. Next on our list is Ilara. So we'll move Ilara down to here. And then we have, with the 11 is going to be Haldor. And then bringing up the rear is going to be Keldrick. So Keldrick is the slowest off the mark here. And there we go. So that is our. So Sean, is that official rules? I've used many different methods over the years, so I actually don't even know what the official rule is, and if it changes by version. So that might be the official rule. I've gone where the hero breaks the tie. I've gone where we roll different variations of dice. I have seen the one where you go with the higher bonus. So yeah, I don't actually even know if that is what the rule is or not, or if it's if that's just generally what people do. So, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. We can look that up at a later date, and we'll see what the real rules are. So let me let me update the hit points for everybody on here so that we can get those displayed. So give me just a second to do that. And that's going to be 31. And then we have Alara. Laura with the 23, and then Lyra 25. 25, okay, and let me bring those up. And let's see if I can get these positioned in the right spots here. So that's going to be Keldrick, Haldor, Ilara, and Lyra. So that way we got our hit points and we can track those together as we go through this. So official 4E rule is based on the initiative bonus, but you can do it, whatever. So yeah, we'll go with whatever. So I try not to break the rules when they're so obvious, but sometimes I don't know. I kind of forget which things were actually in the rules versus which things were just homebrew stuff. So combatants have the same initiative. The combatant with the higher initiative bonus goes before the other. Makes sense. So I do tend to err on the side of giving the players the advantage. So if it was a tie between players, then I usually have them roll a die. I'll have them roll a d6 or something, and whoever gets the higher one, that's the person that gets it. If it's a tie between a monster and a player, then I tend to give it to the player because I like the players to have a slight advantage in that regard. So that's the way I do it. Obviously, there are different rules about it, and different people do different things. So that's one of the beauties of the game, is that you can play on different tables and come up with rules that work best for you. All right, so there we go. We have our initiative order. Wolves will go first, followed by Lyra, the Goblins, Ilara, Haldor, and Keldrick. I put the hit points on the screen so we can keep track of the hero hit points. I obviously did not put hit points for the monsters because we wouldn't generally share that during a game, but obviously we can see it here. So I will keep tabs on the different hit points for the monsters separately. So oh yeah, I've done, so Jacob, yeah, I've let them choose too. That's another one that I've done, is just let them work it out too. So there's lots of different ways that people have gone about it. So that's another good one. Yeah. So there we have our initiative. Now the next thing in the encounter is the tactics, and this is the part that I love about 4th edition that I don't feel we get enough of in 5th edition. Is the tactics, and I will admit, in some of the 4th edition encounters, not all of them have as detailed tactics as we have here, but to me, it's really helpful when you kind of have an idea what the monsters are going to do during the encounter. And 4th edition was really good about having a section about the tactics. And in this case, it tells you what the goblins will do on their first turn, what the wolves will do on their first turn, and then what the goblins and wolves will do on later turns. So it goes into a lot of detail. Some of them are not quite as detailed as that, but that is the one section that I really appreciate, is understanding, how to play these monsters. And then the next section after that is the monster statistics, which we kind of talked about. So we have the monster stat blocks right here in the document. We don't have to refer to the monster manual. We don't have to flip to the back of the book. They're all right there. And we have the features of the area, which you get in your 5th edition adventures too. Will generally have that. It indicates that those rocks are going to be difficult terrain. You have to roll an athletics check to move across the rocks. And anytime you enter a square that contains rocks, it's going to cost you 2 squares of movement. The ruined tower is mostly crumbled, and the walls are still 8 to 10 feet high. So you would really need to walk around it, or you'd have to try to climb over it. So it's not like something you can just walk right over. And then the woods at the corners of the map are difficult terrain, so they're pretty far out of the way. So that is the features of the area that we have, and you get a little explanation of combat advantage, because the wolves do get combat advantage if they are flanking a target. So you get a little explanation that if you have combat advantage against a creature, then you get a +2 bonus to your attack rolls against the target. And then if the wolf manages to knock the target prone, then any attack against that character that is prone would have combat advantage. So it gives you, again, this is more of an aside because this is an educational encounter for a new DM. So it's kind of spelling out a few of the rules for you here. You wouldn't necessarily have all that spelled out for you in a regular encounter. Player tactics: hit it until it dies. Yeah, I like it. Burn it with fire. That sounds like a fighter or a barbarian's approach to things. No subtlety whatsoever. So, all right. So with all of that said, it is time for the wolves to go. So per the combat tactics, on the wolves' first turn, they each move as many as 8 squares toward one of the adventurers in the back of the party. They are coming from opposite sides, and they try to flank their chosen target, positioning themselves opposite sides or opposite corners of the character's square. If they accomplish this, they get combat advantage. They attack and then both retreat, shifting 4 squares away after making their attacks. Now, there's something I meant to look up beforehand, and maybe somebody can give me this information before, as I'm prepping the wolves' turn. So we're going to have the wolves moving to get into position here, and the question is if they're gonna take up a position and flank one of these creatures, and then the first wolf that goes is going to get in position, but he's not going to be flanking that creature until the other wolf gets in position. But by the time the other wolf moves, the first wolf's turn will be over. Is there a rule in 4th edition for the first wolf to move into position and then delay their action until after the second wolf has moved? I know that there are delay actions in some of the other versions of the game. I do not recall if that is the case in 4th edition. So while I move the first wolf, if anybody has that answer or wants to look up that answer for me, I would appreciate it. It would help me so I know what I can do next with this wolf. So the first thing is the wolf has to get into a position. So they can move up to 8 squares. So 1, 2, 3. If I move there, it's going to give up an opportunity attack. So the first wolf can use a ready action. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So this wolf can actually walk around and not have to climb up on. You can ready actions on page 291 of the player's handbook. Thank you. Hey, Matt, sorry you couldn't stick around, but I appreciate that you were able to drop in. The replay will be up, and I will put up the condensed version over the weekend. Yeah, the wolves, I found it interesting with the tactics when I was reading through this one that it mentions that they're going to try to flank these the enemies. And it would seem like something that's beyond maybe what wolves would be able to strategize and such, but also I know that in other editions of the game, they do have like pack tactics where there are some things that come into play when there's other wolves involved. So, I think it's probably the limits of their knowledge of strategy, but I'll allow it. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 would put this one right here. So that's the full movement for that wolf and puts them right opposite here. Yeah, those are the questions. Does the wolf know to wait for his buddy to get there? Certainly the goblins and such, they would figure that out. But a wolf, I don't know. I was torn myself when I was reading through the rules. As I was playing through it in my head, my gut told me this wolf would get in position and would attack, and then this wolf. Oh, I'm sorry. I knew that was going to happen. I put up the character sheets and then I forget to show the map. Sorry about that. So I moved Wolf 1 into position, but I feel like Wolf 1 is probably going to go into position and is just going to attack. I don't feel that Wolf 1 is going to actually be smart enough to wait until Wolf 2 gets into position. So I think we're going to go ahead. Yeah, sorry, Howard. I forgot. I tend to do that, and so keep me honest with the maps and making sure everything's visible. So let's go ahead, and Wolf 1 has moved into position, and I'm going to have Wolf 1 actually make their attack right away. I don't feel that Wolf 1 would know or be patient enough to wait for Wolf 2 to get in position. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we have for the Wolf is they have a bite as their at-will power. They get a +7 versus armor class. So Wolf 1 is going to attack our hero number 4, which is Haldor. So +7 versus armor class. Let's go ahead and see how. Oops, wrong button. Let's see how he does. So we'll roll our d20. 14 +7 is going to be a 21. I'm pretty sure that is going to hit Haldor pretty easily. And Haldor has an armor class of 17, so a 21 will hit Haldor. So, and that is going to bring out damage of 1d6 +5. And then this wolf does not have combat advantage, so this will just be a straight 1d6 +5. And we get a 4. So +5, that is going to be 9 points of damage on Haldor. So we'll go ahead and subtract our 9 points of damage. There we go. Haldor is down to 22. And the wolf has no reason to shift at this point, so we will leave that alone. But it's now our turn for the next wolf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So no problem getting into position. 4th edition diagonal squares count the same as regular vertical and horizontal movements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now wolf number 2 is in position, and we can go ahead and roll for them. So again, +7 versus armor class, and then it'll be a 1d6 +5 damage. So let's go ahead and roll our attack. 12 +7 is going to be a 19. Haldor's armor class was 17, so that is going to be a hit. And then, so that'll be a 1d6, another 4 +5 is going to be another 9 points of damage for Haldor. So Haldor is not off to a good start here. So Haldor is down to 13, which means that Haldor is actually bloodied. We get to get into the bloodied condition right away because that took no time at all. So bloodied, Haldor reaches bloodied when he reaches 15 hit points, and that puts him at 13. So Haldor is now bloodied. If there's any condition, any attacks or powers that affect someone that's bloodied differently, then those will take effect on him. So yeah, and there's nothing in here to indicate that these are specially trained wolves. I feel like these are, based on the description, these are just wild wolves that happen to be in the same area. Not that they're actually anything, that they're not even like, they're not even with the goblins. They just happen to be here. So, sorry, did I miss an opportunity attack? No, nobody moved out of the area. So, the wolf moved. So Keldrek is hero number 1. The wolf moved here and then here. So it only is an opportunity attack if he moves away from out of the range of that person. So, is any threatened square? Oh boy, we have another rules situation. Let's see. Oh boy. I'm going to look at it myself. That's one that is definitely different for me, if that's the case. Opportunity attack. If an enemy leaves a square adjacent to you, you can make an opportunity attack against that enemy. Well. Okay. I don't think the wolf would have been smart enough to avoid Keldrek. I think he would have made a beeline for Haldor. So, given that the rules say that leaving this square actually gives up an opportunity attack, then we'll go ahead and do that. So, yeah, exactly. So, I don't think it's smart enough to I don't think he's smart enough. I think they have enough strategic wherewithal to know, hey, I'm going to attack the same creature that my buddy is attacking, but not so much where they can really think it through beyond that. And then, so certainly I agree, not enough to know that, hey, I need to avoid getting close to this other person, this Dragonborn. I'm just going to make a beeline for the target I'm after. So when this wolf moved from this square into this square, that was them moving out of a threatened square. So therefore, Keldrek will get an attack. So that's my ruling on that one. So now Keldrek gets to make a basic melee attack. So that would be with the longsword, which would be a +7 bonus. So let's go ahead and see how Keldrek does on that. Okay, that will definitely hit. So +18 +7 is going to be a 25 against our wolf that has an armor class of 16. So no problem with that one. And then it's going to be a 1d8 +4 damage. So well, that's not very helpful. So the amount of damage was not the dice roll wasn't great, but it gets 4 damage. So the wolf number 2 is now going to be down by 5 hit points. So I'm going to make a note of that here. I don't have a spot on the screen to actually record that, so I will record that separately. 5 points of damage, and there we go. All right, so that was our opportunity attack. And that is, the wolves can also shift 4 squares, but I don't feel that they would. I think that both of the wolves are now flanking the target that they want. That target is still upright, and I think that they would just stay put. There's no reason for them to shift at this point. So with that, we are good with the wolves, and it is now Lyra's turn to go. And so we have to make a choice. What do we want Lyra to do? Lyra is, I'll pull up the character sheet on here so that we can. So Lyra is hero number 2. I can switch my screen here so we can still have a glimpse at the map. Lyra is hero number 2. She doesn't have any of the creatures around her, so she has pretty much free movement to go wherever she wants. Sorry, let me get this die out of the way. Pretty much free movement to move wherever she wants. She is the rogue. She has, both of the wolves have already attacked, so she only gets her advantage on the goblins who have not done anything yet. So, but they're kind of far away. So sneak attack. Can she reach a goblin? Let's see if she's got enough reach to go for a goblin. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, her Her speed is, where is her speed? Her speed is 6. So she's only got 6 squares of movement. She does have a dagger she could throw. Oh, yeah. So if she moves up here, she could flank that wolf. If she comes down here, she could flank this wolf. The description of the encounter indicated that the goblins did reveal themselves, so I'm going to presume that they are aware that the goblins are here. So I think if we move the... Yeah, so I was thinking of bringing her down. That whole opportunity attack thing is really weird now because it's like it changes how we can move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we move her here, oops, sorry, I did it again. Character sheets are showing. Go back to the. If we move her to this spot right here, then she can be flanking wolf number 2. The only reason I'm not bringing her up here is because it says that these rocks require an athletics check to try to climb over them. So I'm kind of avoiding that area. But if I bring her down here, then she can be flanking wolf number 2, and then be able to use her sneak attack. So that's where I'm thinking there. Plus 10. Oh, yeah, because then she gets the bonus on her. She has combat advantage. She's got combat advantage against the goblin, so that would give her plus 10 if she throws a dagger at. All right, so we have a choice to make. We've got a lot of awesome. I guess the choice that we have to make is attack wolf number 2 or attack goblin number 2. She can either come over and flank wolf number 2 and attack with combat advantage, or she can move over here and get into a position where she can throw her dagger with combat advantage at this goblin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She can get exactly in line with that goblin. And the range of the dagger, I think the range of the dagger should be fine. Where's the... I'm looking up the weapons. So what is the dagger? Has a range 5 to 10. Okay, the range is not quite as good as I was hoping. So okay, well, I think, can we still get her in a position? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can get her in a position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's fine. She can get into a position of to be able to use combat advantage and throw the dagger. So either way, she would have combat advantage. It's a question of whether we'd rather she attack the wolf or attack the goblin at this point. In either case, she would have combat advantage in the attack. Hey, G. Markle, how you doing? Seeing, I missed you joining, I think, but welcome. I think it's a 50-50 proposition. Either way, she's going to have combat advantage, and it's more just a question simply of whether she'd rather attack the wolf or the goblin. I personally feel that her friend is in danger, and so attacking the wolf might make more sense, but we have a vote for the goblin. I wonder if I should put up poll questions for some of these. That would be easier. The delay kind of interferes with some of it. So, I'm glad you got over the COVID. That's always good. So I know I've had it a couple times myself, and it definitely isn't fun. So I'm glad you're on the trail end of that. So, I think maybe just to keep it interesting, I'm going to go ahead and have her attack as soon as I say I'm going to have her attack the goblin, everybody's going to vote for the wolf. So sure enough, there it is. So we've got a mix between the goblin and the wolf. Oh, it is 2/8 damage on the goblin. What's the, I'm curious, what is the hit points on the goblins? So the goblins are, hang on. Excuse me. So the goblins, they're roughly about the same hit points between the wolves and the goblins. There's not much difference there. Yeah, I'm worried about the wolves because they're doing a lot of damage, and so I think that once there's a real chance that they could go after Haldor again, and then just turn their attention to the party. So whereas the goblins are still off hiding, so we'll get it won't be sneak attack. It'll just be combat advantage. Yeah, she'll get tons of damage on that. Man, I keep going back and forth. Yeah, you're right. So with the sneak attack against the goblin, then... Oh, wait. So she'll get the sneak attack damage no matter what, because the sneak attack is when she has combat advantage. And so she has the combat advantage because she'll be flanking the wolf number 2. So yeah, once per round, when you have combat advantage against an enemy and are using a light blade, a crossbow, or a sling, then your attack against that enemy deals an additional plus 2d8 points of damage. So either way, she will have sneak attack. So I think it makes more sense for her to go after the wolf. So let's why don't we take that route? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of taking a circular route there. All right, but now she is now flanking wolf number 2, and because of that, she has combat advantage over wolf number 2, and with combat advantage, she gets to apply her sneak attack if she is to hit. So that is the situation she has put herself in. Plus, with the combat advantage, she gets a +2 bonus to the attack roll against that target. So get her new coat of fur. Yep. Let's see. So let's. So her. I guess. Okay. And then is it a? So are we using a power, or are we using a basic attack? I don't know. It doesn't say. We're not limited to basic attacks for when we're going to try to do sneak attack, right? So can we go ahead and use one of our powers? Death Strike probably doesn't make much difference. The damage for the dagger is the same. But extra damage. So yeah, so if we use Sly Flourish, then we get +8 to our attack with the dagger, and we'll get a 1d4 +7 plus our 2d8 if we hit. So I think that's the way to go. Sly Flourish all the way. So we're going to use Sly Flourish on this wolf. First thing we got to do, roll our d20. Please roll well. 13 +8, that is going to be a 21. So that will definitely hit the wolf. So 21 versus the wolf's armor class, which just for reference, if anybody's keeping score at home, is 16. So definitely hit there. And now we get to do all this damage. So that'll be a 1d4 plus 2d8 for the sneak attack damage. So let's go ahead and roll those. I don't know if that'll work. It does work. Okay, look at that. All right, we got a 4 plus 6 plus 3. That is going to be 13 points of damage, plus the Sly Flourish also gives plus 7. So we're at 13 plus 7. That's 20 points of damage on wolf number 2. And oh yeah, I forgot. Well, she hit even without adding the extra 2 for the attack. So so we got a hit. We rolled 13, including the sneak attack damage, and we get a plus 7 because of Sly Flourish, which gives us a total damage of 20, which means that wolf is now bloodied, and that wolf is not feeling very well. It's got quite a bit of damage there. So let me adjust that since the wolf is bloodied. Oh, I guess I have it indicating that the wolves are bloodied, but only one of them is bloodied right now. So action point. Well, we got to vote for action point. Go ahead and finish this wolf off. Be done with it. Anyone else up for an action point and let Lyra just take care of this wolf all by herself? Just looking up some of the other rules to keep things going here. Take an extra action. Can we use another power if we do the action point? Is that just a full? Yeah, so we get a full standard action. So yeah, so all right, action point it is. So she's going to spend her action point, and we'll go ahead and she's going to do another Sly Flourish because she'll use a standard action, and she is still in combat advantage, so she'll get all the same bonuses as what she had before. So let's go ahead and roll our D20. Nailed it. I don't think that could have gone any better. So, all right. So we get to answer another question for a critical hit. Is it just the damage from the weapon die that we double? Okay, so it doesn't look like we... Oh. Yeah, so it doesn't look like we did a... we don't get to double or get the max of the... we don't get to do the max on the sneak attack damage. But we'll do the max on the dagger. So the dagger is just a 1d4. So that'll be 4 damage plus 7, and then we can roll the sneak attack damage again to see. So let's just go ahead and roll the sneak attack. So 10. Well, there we go. This wolf is done. He only had 10 hit points left. So we're going to so this wolf is... Go ahead and do that to indicate that wolf is gone. So wolf number 2 has been dealt with. Oh yeah, you're right. No sneak attack. She had enough. She had the max of 4 and 7, and she had a 7 bonus, so that was going to be 11. The wolf only had 10 hit points, so either way, the wolf was already dead before we even tried the sneak attack damage. So yes, thank you for pointing that out, though. I did forget that. I got all excited about the critical hit. So, but either way, the wolf is done. So that helps Haldor quite a bit because now there's no flanking going on there. So Lyra has done her move and done everything she could to help this situation. And let's move on to, we are up to the goblins now. So, whew, a lot going on. So let's take a look at the goblins and see what they have to offer here. So I'm going to pull up the goblins real quick. I will try my best to remember to bring this sheet down. So the goblins, they have several things that they can do. They have short swords to do melee attacks. They have a dagger that they could use as ranged attacks. They have a move action where they can shift 3 squares, and then triggered actions. So if they are missed by a melee attack, then they get to shift 1 square. So that's the special stuff. So for their attacks, they basically just have their short sword attack, and they could make ranged weapons. So I think at this point, these goblins, based on the description of the encounter, it says they move as many as 6 squares towards the nearest adventurer. If that puts them adjacent to any of the player characters, they attack with their short swords. If it doesn't, they throw daggers. So that is what we will do. We will move them as close as possible to the heroes, and then they will either melee attack or they will make a ranged attack. Yeah, I'm playing Lyra's character. I'm playing all the characters, and I was pretty excited too. So I was so excited, I was ready to throw sneak attack damage on there. So that was pretty cool. So, all right, let's see. So I don't think either of them are going to be able to get within position to do melee. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, I take it back. Okay, so, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 is not going to be able to, but 2 will be able to. So we'll start with 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But the range on the dagger is, as we already discovered, is 5 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are going to be there's going to be a -2 penalty for that attack. Yeah. It's pretty sad when I'm the DM and I almost did it. So, -2 on a dagger. So to throw the dagger, so there's 2, I'm guessing they must have 2 daggers. So if he's going to throw a dagger, it's going to be a -2 because we are slightly out of range. I think we'll have to go through to Haldor because I think Lyra is probably, this corner is going to throw that off. So it's going to throw it at Haldor. So it'll be, the attack is usually a +6, but because it's out of range, it'll be a +4. So let's go and see how we do. (12 + 4 is 16 against Haldor, and Haldor has an armor class of 16, and we have a tie. That's going to hit, right? It has to match. It doesn't have to exceed. If I'm remembering correctly. We are hitting all of the things that require some rules analysis here. So, oh wait, that's the wrong character. Hang on. I pulled up the wrong character. Oh no. Sorry, Haldor. Okay, ties go to the person rolling. That's okay. So that would have hit, but I had the wrong character up. Haldor has an armor class of 17. So Haldor. So this will miss. It was a 16. Haldor has an armor class of 17, so it is going to be a miss. So all of that is for now. I appreciate the timely responses to that. I was struggling to remember exactly what the rule. So that is a miss. Goblin number 1 misses in their attack on Haldor. Goblin number 2, meanwhile, is going to can actually get into position to do a melee attack here. So goblin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So goblin number 2 can get into position and can attack Lyra. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll do the roll. So that is going to be a 9, and then the goblin has a +6 for that. So 9 + 6 is 15. Lyra's armor class is 16, so that one is going to hit. So we got to use our tie scenario after all. So that will hit, and the damage for the dagger is going to be 1d6 + 5. There is no combat advantage, so 1d6 + 5 for that. Rolling 1d6, and we get a 4 + 5, which means Lyra is going to take 9 points of damage. So let me go ahead and jot that down. 9 points of damage drops her down to 16. And there we go. So now I think we're all in position. They've both moved their allotted movement. They've both attacked. One of them hit, one of them missed. 9 plus... Oh, did I not add right? The bonus... Did I roll a 9 on my 20? I can look at the history. Let me see. Yeah, you're right. Holy crap. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't know how I had in my head that 9 + 6 = 16, but so all right. Forget all of that. They missed. Okay, so never mind. That was a miss. My bad. I failed at math apparently. So, both goblins tried to attack. Both goblins missed in their attacks, and we are now down to Ilara, our wizard. Yeah, it was easy enough to undo. So thank you, Sean, for pointing it out. Keep me honest. I am not above admitting when I make a mistake. So. burn. Okay, thank you, Joe, for that. All right, it is Ilara's turn, so let's take a look at what she's got and see what we want to do here. We'll flip over to this one. So we have our wizard in play. A lot of options for the wizard. Magic missile being the standby. Ray of Frost, Scorching Burst, Burning Hands. We decided on Sleep, I believe. So the Sleep would be the daily power. I don't know that Ghost Sound or Light are going to come into play or come in handy here. And then if she spends an action point on this turn, then she would get a +3 bonus to 2 rolls made with that. So that's pretty much where she is at. So what are our choices? What are we thinking here with this one? Lots of options for our wizard. And she is let's see, where is she located? So she is number 3. So she could go, her movement is 6 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, she's got range stuff, so she doesn't need to get next to anybody. So Levelin, that's very helpful. Yes. So Ray of Frost and the target speed is slowed. Yeah, that's a good point. So deals damage, and then we could actually all move and stay out of range. So that's a good play. I like that one. All right, I'll pause for to see if there's any other additions that anybody would like, and then we'll go ahead and play it out. Ray of Frost, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. All right, let's do Ray of Frost. Ray of Frost has it's going to be a +4 attack versus Fortitude. So let me go ahead and get the character sheet out of the way. Oops, nope, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to flip back to you over here. So it's going to be a +4 attack versus Fortitude. Let's go ahead and roll that one. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. So 18 + 4. All right, check my math. I'm questionable apparently. 22 is what I'm thinking. Let me break out my abacus and see if I got that right. 22 versus the Fortitude of the Goblin. I'm going after Goblin number 1, by the way. That was the plan. 22 versus the Fortitude of 13. So yeah, so that is definitely a hit. And then the damage on that one is going to be 1d6 + 4, and that Goblin is going to be slowed. So let me go ahead and do the damage roll. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. So so 1d4, we only rolled a 1 + 4. So Goblin number 1 has taken a little damage, but not a whole lot. But they are slowed. So that'll help when we get around to that turn. Do we need Alara to move at all? Yeah, so Sean, you're mentioning Magic Missile has a range of 20 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, she could actually move back. Why don't we do that? Let's move her back to make sure she's out of range. She can be out of range of this Goblin too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say we put. Yeah, let's do that. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to put her up here. That puts her out of range of this Goblin as well. So that Goblin would have to move in order to get closer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that puts her out of range there. Definitely out of range of this one. So I think we're good. All right, so that is Alara done. Next we have Haldor. So finally, he's the one that took all the damage to start, and now he finally gets a chance to return the favor. So I will presume that Haldor is going to want to attack this wolf that is beside him. So let's take a look at that and see what we want to do. Let me clear this die out of the way. So he's got. The rock would definitely give her some cover from number 1, but I think she's already out of range of Goblin number 1, so I don't think that's going to be a concern. I was mostly trying to make sure she's got out of range of this one as well. So, and this, my idea is that she would attack this Goblin first. Obviously with, there might be some issues with them being in the way, but, if she's using a spell, that's probably okay. Attack this Goblin first, and then once this one's down, then she can shift her attention there and she can move into a better position to get out of the way. So, all right. So Haldor has Cleave, Reaping Strike, Spinning Sweep, and Brute Strike. Cleave's not going to do much good here since it's only the one. Brute Strike. Let's have a look. So we got daily +6 versus armor class. 66. Oh my. Okay. And if you miss, you don't expend the use of this power. I love that. I wish more of the daily powers had that, because to me, the daily power should be the type of thing where it's like, you shouldn't just waste it. Yeah, I understand you can't use it again in that encounter, but I feel like you should be able to use it again if you miss. So I like that one. Yeah, I think given the fact that he took a ton of damage from this wolf, I think it's only reasonable to say that Haldor is going to turn around with his maul and try to maul wolf number 1. So I am completely on board with this plan. So let me yeah, I know there's a bunch of different types of things, because there's some daily powers that have, is it the reliable? I think it's the reliable. So that reliable trait is the thing that says that if you miss, you don't use, the power is not used. So some of them have that, and then some of them deal the half damage. I still feel like it was always a thing that rubbed me the wrong way. I just felt like if you miss with it, you should just get to plan to have it again. You get to use it until you hit with it. But maybe that's just me. I just like to be able to hit. I always lament the situation where somebody is trying to do something really cool and the dice just don't cooperate, and then they end up missing. And you can get half damage, but you usually don't get all the extra stuff that would come with it. So you'd get half damage, but you don't knock them prone or whatever other things you'd get. And it always just seemed like it's disappointing for the player. So I like it where you get to use that power until you actually use that power. And then then it goes away for the rest of the day. But that's my 2 cents on that. Oh yeah, we can do action point too. So all right, let's do Brute Strike. So let me flip back over here, and we are going to do Brute Strike on wolf number 1. I am very excited about this. So this will be a +6 versus the wolf's armor class. The wolf has an armor class of 16. So let's keep that in mind. The armor class is 16. Let's go ahead and roll this d20 and see how we do. We got a +6. Oh, man. So, bum. Okay. So that didn't go quite as we were hoping. So that's a 14 versus 16 armor class. Obviously that is a miss, but the daily power is still good. So if we want to use the action point and try it again, that's the route we can go. So that's the route I feel like we definitely want to try that one again and see what happens. All right. So Haldor is giving up his action point. And let's try it again. Let me flip back over to here. And rolling the d20. I don't know. It was going to be amazing, but not on this turn. It's not. So 9 plus the 6 is going to be a 15. I learned that before. when the goblin was attacking, and I thought that 9 plus 6 equals 16, but I was educated and learned that 9 plus 6 is actually 15. So now we know here. 15 against an armor class of 16, that will be a miss. So Haldor, despite 2 attempts at dealing with this wolf, yeah, exactly. You had 1 job. You had 2 tries. And yeah, that's just, I guess he's just too slow. You want to do it anyways? Just for demo purposes? We're gonna save it. Because when he finally does hit with it and can roll the 6d6s, it'll be glorious. But moving on. So, all right. Sorry, Haldor. You'll have to wait for another turn. Maybe Lyra can save your skin. All right, Keldrek. It is Keldrek's turn. Let's have a look and see what he's got up his sleeve. So Keldrek has he's got his breath weapon. He can do some healing. So Haldor is bloodied and is down to 13 hit points, I believe. So Haldor could actually use a little bit of healing. But then on top of that, we've got some other powers we could do. So I don't see any. So lay on hands is the only real healing one that they have. I don't see any others that. Oh, those are healing surge. So the Paladin's Judgment would allow to do some damage, and then also would give Haldor some healing if we want to go that route. Go ahead and use that daily power. If otherwise, we've got lay on hands is the only other option. Oh, could he have combat challenged with that, even with a miss? I thought he had to hit, but I'll look back on that one. We'll probably let that one go rather than go backwards, but I'll take a look at that one for the future. All right, I think we're looking at Paladin Judgment. What the heck? Let's just go all in, right? So Paladin's Judgment. Daily power, 3d8 plus 4 damage, and Haldor could spend a healing surge, so we'd move Keldrek right up there next to that wolf, deal with the wolf, and also heal Haldor in the process. So I think that one does make sense. Yeah, and the heal even happens on a miss, so I think that one makes sense. Let's go ahead and flip back, and we'll take a look at that one. So Keldrek gonna move here, just move up 1 square. To get adjacent to he's already adjacent to Haldor, but get adjacent to the wolf. And then the attack is a +7 versus armor class. The armor class of the wolf is 16. Let's see what Keldrek can do. There we go. 15 plus 7. That is 22. Well above 16, so we are good there. The damage for that is going to be, what was it again? 3d8 plus 4 damage. So we'll start with that. There we go. So that is a 14 plus 4. That is 18 damage. Wolf number 1 had not actually taken any damage yet. So 14, 18. So, okay. So wolf number 1 still is actually not even bloodied at this point. So that, I was hoping for more. Man, if only Haldor had hit with that one, that would have been awesome. But then we get Haldor does get to spend a healing surge, so can spend a healing surge. So Haldor will spend a healing surge, and just to, I'll just bring that one up so that we can see it. Haldor has healing surge value is 7. He gets 12 surges per day, so that is going to restore 7 hit points to Haldor. Bringing him back up to 20, which means that he is no longer bloodied. All right. And he is down by 1 healing surge. So that was not too bad. Did a fair amount of damage to the wolf and got the healing for Haldor. So I think that accomplished the goal for Keldrek. But we are right back to the wolves. Round 2. That was round 1. Believe it or not, that was 1 round. But we're actually we're in pretty good shape here. So the wolves, there's only 1 wolf left, and obviously the wolf is going to do their bite. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into that. The wolf has a bite, and so the attack is going to be +7 versus armor class. So let's see how the wolf does on this one. So 16 +7, that is going to hit. Boy, the one that we really wanted to hit is the one that missed. But so the wolf is going to get Haldor again, and the damage for the wolf is 1d6 +5. And that is, so let's go ahead and roll that one. So, boy. So that is 9 points of damage. So Haldor just healed by 10 and now is going to take 9 damage. So that's just the way that goes, I guess. But hey, that's pretty good, though, because if it wasn't for that, then he would be in pretty bad shape. All right. And I think the wolf's going to stay right. I don't think the wolf has any real reason to leave. So, hey, Lacey, welcome. Glad you found the channel, and I hope you're having a good time. We are just playing through a D&D 4E encounter right now. The wolf took, it was 18 damage, not 22. Again, check my math. I think, if I remember correctly, it was, because it was 14. We rolled a 14 with the damage die, and then it was +4 on top of that, I believe, is what it came back with. Yeah, +4. So we rolled 14 and then +4. That was 18 damage. And so it's just, yeah, it's just above being bloodied. So the wolf is just above being bloodied. So that's the wolf. Next we're with Lyra. So maybe Lyra can now show Haldor how to deal with stuff. Though Lyra is currently engaged with the goblin. So, Lyra is our rogue and currently engaged with goblin number 2 in melee. So if Lyra was to try to leave, she would have to give up an opportunity attack. I don't believe that Lyra's going to want to do that. These are not the characters that I made on the streams. I was going to use those, but then I found these pre-gens in the quick start guide, so I'm just using these pre-gens. I plan on using the ones that I made on the stream later on. I just haven't gotten around to polishing them up a little bit. So, but yeah, so these are actually pre-gens. The links to these are down in the description if you want to download them. So let's so what do we want Lyra to do next? So she does not have combat advantage on this goblin at all. What's our best bet? So this goblin. So she's got a daily power that gives her 3d4 damage, and then she could start kind of sliding the target around with her. She doesn't do a lot of damage, so I don't see that she's gonna. Without the sneak attack, she doesn't have a whole lot that's gonna get her a ton of damage. So Sly Flourish, and then either shift left. Yeah, I don't see combat advantage in play here, so the best bet. So I guess just Sly Flourish again. We'll just go with that one. Do the Outwill power. And do the best we can with it. So try to get some damage anyway. So let's do that. Let me flip back over here. So Lyra is our halfling rogue, and she's going to attack goblin number 2 here using Sly Flourish. That gets a +8 versus armor class. So let's see how she makes out. 9 + 8 is 17. Against this goblin. The goblin's armor class is 15, so she is good. And then that's going to give 1d4 + 7 damage. Four, nice. 4 + 7. That's going to be 11 points of damage on that one, so very nice. That was a pretty good hit. That was a pretty successful hit for her, even though with as little... She doesn't seem like she does much damage, but that one actually was pretty good. So does she get to do... So with Sly Flourish, she doesn't... she doesn't get anything extra with Sly Flourish. So she's just... So if we had taken a different one, if we had done the positioning strike, which is an encounter power, then she could have slid the target 3 squares, but we didn't do that one. We just did the Sly Flourish. So she won't be able to move the target this one. She can move around. That might not be a bad thing if, oh no, because this threat's right. If she moves out of this square, it's going to do an opportunity attack. So, yeah, so this one, I mean, she did a decent amount of damage, but I think that's about all she's going to be able to do in this one. So I think we'll leave it at that, and let's move on to next is going to be the goblins. So the goblins, we still have both of them. We'll start with Goblin 1, who now can actually move into position to do an attack. So let me see. There's some tactics. On later turns, the goblins, they try to flank characters since they... I'll pull up. Let me pull this up so we can all see it. They will try to flank the characters so that they can do more damage. They spread out their attacks to different characters rather than ganging up on one adventurer. They might attack the wizard at first and then decide to keep their distance because they're afraid of such powerful and explosive magic. If a goblin can reach a character knocked prone by wolves, it attacks the adventurer with combat advantage. Okay, so we don't have that. The wizard is way out of range. We moved Ilara way off in the distance, so that's not going to be a problem. So really, I think this goblin is... Oh, he slowed. That's right. Oh, okay, so he's not going anywhere. Thank you for reminding me. I have a note written right next to him, and I still forgot it. So yeah, so he can only move, and I'll just go ahead and... So he can only actually move 2 spots, and that's it. So there's no flanking or combat advantage going to be happening with him. So I think this goblin is going to be attacking Haldor then, number 4. So we'll do that one. I'm going to throw a dagger. Already threw 1 dagger and missed, so he only has 1 dagger left. But Haldor is only a few squares away, so he's within range, and it's going to be a +6 versus Haldor's armor class. Haldor's armor class is 17. So +6 versus 17. Man, these monsters are just rolling awesome. I'm getting great rolls for everyone except for Haldor. It's crazy. So 17 plus 7 is going to be 24. So no problem with a hit for that one. That gives damage for that is going to be 1d4 plus 5 on that one. So 1d4. Okay, it's 1 plus 5. That's going to be 6 damage on Haldor. Haldor has 11, so he's still in the fight, but it's not looking good. So -6. That's going to put him down to 5. So Haldor is down to 5 hit points. So that's not so good. Goblin number 2 clearly is just going to take a stab at Lyra here. So short sword, and is going to get a +6 versus Lyra's armor class. Lyra has an armor class of 16, so +6 versus 16. 9 plus 6. Boy, I'm getting tested on this whole 9 plus 6 thing all night. This is at least the third time that 9 plus 6 has come up, and I'm bound and determined to get it right now every time. So 9 plus 6 is 15, and so that is not enough to hit Lyra's armor class of 16. So that goblin is going to miss. So we got lucky there. Haldor has just enough hit points to continue on in this fight, but and the other goblin missed. So now we're to the meat of the order here. We've got Alara, Haldor, and Keldrek coming up here. I am not using a virtual tabletop. I had experimented with using Roll20 for this, but there were some limitations with it that it turns out I'm not even using the things that there's a thing that I wanted to be able to do that it turns out I'm not actually doing. So I had put together this whole thing with this grid to help us figure out where we wanted people to move, but it doesn't seem to be a thing that's even coming into play. So in the future, I might go ahead and use Roll20. I'm actually just using these maps in GIMP, and I'm just moving the tokens around. So I'm doing it very kludgy here. So we are up to Alara's turn. So let's take a look at what she's got. So Alara is our wizard way off in the distance up here. So she is way up here off. So we got lots of stuff she can do. Magic missile. Hey Tigress, thanks for joining. Glad you had a good time. We got magic missile, ray of frost, scorching burst, ray of frost and scorching burst. Those are probably too far away, but magic missile definitely could hit. Acid arrow. Oh, sorry, we don't have acid arrow. We have sleep. We took sleep as our daily spell. So that's pretty much what we've got there. So we could, if we want to have her move in, she could use Ray of Frost and Scorching Burst on someone, but she's out of range right now, I believe. Well, let me see about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, she's just, I think she is just in range. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, she actually is in range for Ray of Frost. So Ray of Frost is an option on either one of the goblins. Ray of Frost on Goblin 1 again. I'm all for it. That works for me. Sleep. We haven't used sleep, so we've done Ray of Frost already. So if we want to do something different, sleep would be something different for us to do. Burst within 20 squares. Each creature in the burst, the target is slowed. If the target fails its first saving throw, the target falls asleep. Save ends it. And then on a miss, the target is slowed. So that would just slow the Haldor. I think generally we don't want to sleep our allies. So I think I still vote for Ray of Frost. So because that Ray of Frost does damage, and that's kind of my thing. If we could deal some damage, and then basically slow the movement. I don't think the slowing is going to stack, will it? I don't think if I slow them again, it's going to actually stack. I think they're already slowed. You can't be slowed again. So that one probably is not going to work like we're thinking. Yeah, and the sleep would affect your own people. So if we did sleep on like over here by the other goblin, we'd likely get Lyra in that as well. So if we're going to do sleep, it would have to be on this goblin. So I'd be, if we want to just try to put him to sleep, then that would be the way to go. If we're wanting to try to actually do some damage, though, we need something else. Yeah, so the movement just became 2. So they're already slowed, and they would just okay, but they're slowed until the end of the next turn. So we would have to slow them again. So they would be unslowed. They would be fasted. I don't know if once our turn is over. So Ray of Frost would slow them again and re-up it for the next round. So let's go with that. Let's go with Ray of Frost again. That way we can deal some damage and make sure that the goblin is actually slowed until the next turn. So we'll do that. So Ray of Frost, that's going to be a +4 versus Fortitude. The goblin's Fortitude is 13, so +4 versus 13. No problem. 15 + 4, 19 versus 13. So that gets us our damage. And then the damage for Ray of Frost, I believe it was a D6. So 1d6 + 4. Five + 4 is 9 damage on Goblin 1. That is pretty good. So, so that puts us in a pretty good spot. And then he is still slowed until the next round. So that is pretty good. And then Alara didn't have to move back into range. So Goblin 1 is both of these goblins are actually just above being bloodied, just FYI. So they're pretty close to being bloodied. And that brings us to Haldor. The good news is that Haldor has still yet to hit with his Brute Strike, which means if we want to give it another go, we could go ahead and do that, and possibly try to finish off this wolf. So if anybody's up for that, I think that's the way to go, since he still has the Brute Strike available to him, and we can try to see if we can get that third time's a charm for it. And then, so everybody cross fingers. If you've got any sort of lucky charms or anything, now's the time. So it's a +6 versus armor class. The armor class of the wolf is a 16. So a +6 versus 16. Here we go. Come on, Haldor. You can do it. +6. 13 + 6 is 19 versus a 16 armor class. He did it. Yay! 3 tries, but he got it done. And then the best part is that is going to be 6d6 + 3 damage. So that's going to be fun to roll here. This is one of those ones where I wish I was rolling actual dice, because that would be a fun one to roll. So 6d6. All right. 23 plus 3 is going to be 26 points of damage. And that is more than what that wolf had remaining. So that wolf is now done. So we'll take that wolf out of the fight. And now we have nothing but the 2 goblins left. And like I said, those 2 goblins are just about bloodied. So a couple of good hits are going to do them in. But that was a very nice attack from Haldor there. Do we want Haldor to move? We could probably move Haldor into position. Well, we wouldn't need to rush it, because if we put him into position to attack a goblin, he'll just get attacked before it's his turn. So probably not in any rush there to do that. And we still have Keldrick now, can do something. Keldrick could actually get into a flanking position with goblin number 2. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at Keldrick and see what we have here. So if we took Keldrick and moved him 1, 2, 3, 4. Keldrick's speed is 5. His speed is only 5. Oh, crap. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can't get into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can take the long way and get there. So 1, 2, 3. No, that would still be flanking. I mean, he would still give up an opportunity attack if he did that. Huh. Interesting. So he can't actually get into a flanking position, but and we already used the daily power. We've got an encounter power, Radiant Smite, 2d8 damage. The other 2 are going to do 1d8 damage. So if we wanted to try to see if we can, we could potentially, we'd have to roll perfect though. That's what I was wondering, if we want to just go with the opportunity attack and just let it see how it, I mean, he's the one that's got plenty of hit points. So, and then if he gets in, and then he would get max damage if he hits. I'm good for that. Yeah. So, all right, let's go for it. So we'll move him. He'll kind of take the long way, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's his max movement. But then he gives up an opportunity attack right there, which the goblin gets to make a short sword attack. So it would be +6 versus Keldrick's armor class of 20. Yeah, okay. He's got a 20 armor class anyway. So +6 versus 20. Let's see. That is how this evening has gone for our heroes. So +6, 15 plus 6 is 21 versus a 20 armor class. So that is going to succeed. And that will deal 1d6 plus 5 damage. And that's going to be 3 plus 5 is 8 points of damage for our for Keldrick. Brings him down to 19. No problem though. Still good. And then now he has combat advantage on this goblin. So let's take a look here. So then if we did Radiant Smite. Oh yeah, so he has, let's see. So can he just mark this goblin? He doesn't need to do something special for that. He can just say, I want to mark the goblin. I'm thinking he wants to do Radiant Smite because that'll do 2d8 since he has combat advantage. So how does the marking work? Is that some? I thought that was a special thing. You needed a power that allowed you to do that, or is that a thing that anyone can do? Oh, okay. So we'll do. Oh, Divine Challenge, a minor action. I gotcha. Okay, so Divine Challenge, mark the target. It's not marked. The target remains marked until you use power. Creature. Okay, got that. Okay, yeah, perfect. Yep, I completely missed that. So Divine Challenge, minor action. So Goblin number 2 is now marked and has to attack Keldrek, or it's going to deal with consequences. So we mark it as the minor action using Divine Challenge, and then we can use Radiant Smite, the encounter power, to try to see what we can do as far as damage goes. So that's, I think, our play. So let me flip back over here, and Radiant Smite is going to be a +7 versus armor class, and the armor class on the goblin is 15. So +7 versus 15. +7 versus 15. Oh, sorry, wrong die. My bad. That's on me. Sorry about that. Just when we have a plan, that's what happens. All right, so swing and a miss on the Radiant Smite, but Goblin number 2 is marked. So just to make sure, 7 + 4 is 11, +2 for combat advantage is still going to be 13. So we're still short. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, okay. Well, Goblin 2 is marked at least, but so it cannot attack Lyra. It's going to have to go after Keldrek, so that's at least something. All right. Now we're back to the wolves, but the wolves are all gone. So we got Lyra. Okay, Lyra now. Oh, Lyra has combat advantage, which means that she gets her sneak attack. So so now we are back to Lyra, and so I think this one's pretty straightforward. She is gonna she's gonna attack this goblin with her sneak attack damage. Hopefully she hits and can deal the sneak attack damage. Is there a different attack that we would want? We've been doing Sly Flourish. I don't think we want to slide the target because we're in position here. So I don't think Positioning Strike's going to do much for us. Same with Trick Strike. That also allows you to slide the target. I think Sly Flourish is going to be our best one because it's got a D4 +7 for the damage. So I think that is going to be our best bet. So we'll go with Sly Flourish again. So +8 versus armor class. And the armor class is 15. So +8 versus 15. Let's see what she got. It'll actually be +10. 16 + 10, 26. No problem on that. So this is, yeah, she's going to clean up on this one. So it'll be max damage of 1d4. So that's just a 4 + 7 is 11. Plus she gets 2d8 for the sneak attack. So 10 damage plus 11 damage. That goblin number 2 is done. So goblin number 2 is toast. And we are down to one goblin in this encounter. And Lyra has certainly done her job. So next up in our initiative is the goblin, who will likely at this point... Oh, he is slowed still, so he can only move 2 spots. So we'll have him move his 2 spots to go there. And he's going to throw a dagger at Haldor, because Haldor is clearly struggling. So Haldor might have some trouble by the end of this, but we're getting to the end of it, so I think he'll be okay. So throwing the dagger is going to be a +6 versus Haldor's armor class of 17. So +6 versus 17. Ha! So 4 + 6 is 10. That is not... Oh, you're right. He doesn't have any daggers. He already threw his daggers. Thank you, Joe. I am glad you were paying attention. So it doesn't matter. He missed anyway, but he didn't actually even have a dagger to throw. So he had nothing to offer here. So that goblin pretty much just moved forward for no reason. We'll just say that he himself forgot that he had a dagger. I suppose he could have thrown his short sword, but regardless, he missed. And so nothing doing there. And now we are at Lara's turn. And we have just one goblin now against our party of 4. And the wizard perhaps feels a little empowered to do a little something more. So let's see. What do we have that the wizard could try to do? We could do Ray of Frost again. Let's see. What's the movement? So she only got 6 squares of movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She could actually get up to this goblin and use Burning Hands. And that would give 2d, if it hits, then that's 2d6 damage, which would be pretty good. Especially knowing that we've got some other folks that are going to go next. So I feel like that's probably her best bet. She can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get right up to that goblin. Burning Hands. And do 2d6 plus 4 damage with that. So let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna put her up here instead. That way she's not blocking anybody. I don't want anybody to have to go around her. So she's up there, and then it's going to be a +4 versus reflex. Let me see what the goblin. The goblin's probably a pretty good reflex. 14 +4 versus 14. So 16 versus 14, and that is going to hit. So that is going to be 2d6 plus 4 fire damage. So 2d6 plus 4. Four plus 4 is 8 points of fire damage. So this goblin is now officially bloodied. So the goblin is now bloodied and regretting his life choices at this point. So the wizard has done her job, and it is now up to our hero Haldor with his opportunity to finish off this final goblin and get vengeance for the earlier mishaps that he had. So let's see. Let me pull up Haldor's and we'll get here. We can have a look. Poor Pythagoras. I love that. Yes, diagonal movement in 4th edition counts the same as horizontal and vertical. So it just makes it easier. All right. Haldor has... So this goblin is pretty much at his end. But Haldor needs to do the final blow here. And the only question remaining is... how do we want Haldor to go about this? I think Reaping Strike would be a good option. Spinning Sweep seems to be the way to go. 2d6 plus 3, and you knock the target prone. That seems to be what he would want to do. I feel like... and he can actually move and get into combat advantage. So he can get a +2 on his attack. So no question he's going to... Oh no, this goblin is not bright enough, because this goblin had no dagger and still charged at this group and didn't realize until after he charged that he didn't have a dagger. So this goblin is definitely not wise enough to to strategize that. So let's see. 5 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Haldor is now flanking this goblin. And so if we want to, we could do a little bit of a role play to see if this goblin can flee, but I am just going to roll the die. I'm just going for it. So we are doing a +6 versus armor class, and the armor class is 15, as we know. And let's have a look. It's +6. It's going to be +8 actually, because we have combat advantage. +10. He has +10. Let me make sure before I roll it. It's +6 and then a +2 for the because he has combat advantage. Is there another bonus that I'm missing? Just to make sure. I count +8, so I think we're going to go with +8. So nailed it. 17 +8, that is a 25. That is most definitely a hit. I should bring it back over here. So that is definitely a hit, and that is going to do 2d6 plus 3 damage, and that goblin's going to be knocked prone. Let's see how we do with that. Seven plus 3. You know, that worked out pretty well. This goblin had 8 hit points left, and Haldor just did 10 points of damage. So that is about as good as it could have gone for Haldor, given the fact that he had made some pretty big misses early on. Sorry, dropped my pencil. Yeah, nothing intimidates someone more than, you know, chopping their head off. So that's a pretty intimidating thing too. and there we go. Just like that, this we have dealt with the 2 goblins and the wolves, and the party can continue on their way. So, and that's the encounter. So, I had intentions of going through 2 encounters, but I think we're only going to get through the 1 encounter today. So we will save the other encounter for next week, and we will do the Keep on the Shadowfell encounter next week. We'll use the same characters. They will take a short rest, or sorry, they'll go ahead and take an extended rest, and we will get all their powers back. And we're going to run through the Keep on the Shadowfell encounter next week, so I'll get some more information out there for that. But this one, we were doing a lot of chatting and stuff, so naturally this one took a little longer than it would have had we've been sitting around a table. But I'll use that to help factor in some of these going forward. So. But that was, I had a good time. I appreciate all the input and keeping me honest with my math and keeping me honest with the rules. I think that worked out really well. And so I think I enjoyed that. And I'll learn from it. Definitely if there's some things that you think we could do differently next time when we do this, let me know down in the comments what those are, because that would help me out, make sure I put it together in a way that would be helpful. Yeah, I'll definitely try to do some skill stuff. I avoided that here. I was really trying to keep this one simple. But we had the stuff where we could have gone over the rocks and we would have done athletic checks. Certainly at the end, we could have been a little more merciful to the goblin and gave him a chance to beg for his life and run away. I was just trying to keep it easy and just stick to the combat side of it. Next time, though, we will get a little more advanced with it and add in a few of those extra flourishes. But I think this worked out pretty well because we got to use all the powers. We got to do the sneak attack. We got to use brute strike and roll the 6d6s for the damage. So I think that worked out pretty well. I'll keep working on the logistics of some of the play stuff to try to, hopefully that doesn't get too much in the way, but I had a great time with it. So I hope you all had a good time as well. It was fun. Definitely going to continue it next week. This same party will have gotten some rest, and they will be continuing down the road towards their destination. And I think there's going to be some trouble down the road for them. So we'll go that route and see how it goes. So yeah, Haldor redemption arc. He'll need to get some healing before the next session. So, but again, thank you everyone. I had a great time. It was it went pretty well, better than I feared. I worried that there was going to be a lot of hiccups, but I think it went really well. And a lot of that's because of the great feedback everybody had. And I appreciate it, all the input. Please do like the video and to make sure that we can help the algorithm as much as possible. If you have any thoughts about what we should do next week in it, or anything we can do better, please leave those in the comments and I'd appreciate it. And then if you want to help the channel in any other way, check out the description. There's affiliate links in there that can help out. There's a newsletter you can sign up for, all that stuff. So thank you everyone. Have a great evening. Have a great week. And I look forward to doing this again next time. So until then, take care.